Solution design. Now we're talking about how to design that case study, right? We know this case study, right? We want this stuff. Let's design this. And what we'll do is we want to do these things. So we want the system to be able to do so and so things. One, collect user input, of course, which is upload a license image of the license, driving license, multiple formats, WebP format, JPEG, bitmap, and PNG and so on. Then we want to have it to extract key things from the image like name, license number, issue date, expiry date, license class, and so on, right? Date of birth, perhaps, of the customer. So we know much more detail about that. Then you also need to validate whether the license is valid today. You could also change this logic to say license should be valid at least 3 months from now, right? That's all easy. That's all just changing the formula. So it's not a big deal, but having some sort of a validation, right? And then after this, you also need to have consistent structured output. So it can be passed across, put into a database and stuff like that. And then we want to store extracted information into a database, right? We also want to store the images securely. Yes, we want both of them, not just the text, but also the image. And you should be also able to link them, that this is the image corresponding to this user's information, right? Metadata and the image, both should be linkable, or you should be able to correlate them in technical terms, right? And finally, once this is completed, the user gets a status update that this has been done, or that, okay, this is not a valid thing, right? So you should be able to get this kind of information. Cool. This is what we need to do. And in the next slide, we'll see what we'll use for each of them, okay? For collecting user input, we will use n8n form because it's a very straightforward thing. There's also other options. We'll just have a dedicated discussion around this. Maybe what else could have been used. Maybe you can build your own simple front end with you can add some forms with some webhook. That's also very possible, right? It's also, but right now, because you wanted everything to be kept on n8n without any coding whatsoever outside of n8n, we have used an n8n form. And n8n form also can be much more beautiful than the very ugly looking form I showed you, because it has custom styling and multiple elements and stuff. We'll see that in a minute, okay? So collect user input, number one. Then we want data extraction from the image. And for this data extraction from the image, and in fact, for this and the next step as well, we will use Google Gemini 2.5 Flash, which handles images as well as text and stuff. So we will use Google Gemini 2.5 Flash in an AI agent node inside n8n. So that AI agent inside n8n will not only extract the image, but also say validate the data and also return the output in a very structured manner, and using or connecting with an output parser. So just to make sure that the output format is consistent. Of course, we will use JSON. Most of you know JSON, so all good. Now, for storing the metadata or extracted information, we will use a table in Supabase. And then for let's say creating the file storage, a secure file storage, we will use again Supabase buckets, right? And again, Supabase was one choice. All of this could also be done on Google infrastructure or wherever, right? So this is again something we might discuss later. Good. And finally, the n8n form itself is updates when the input is collected, so the user can see this. Okay, right. So that's about our choices for now, and later we can see why some other choices and so on. Okay. If you set up locally, I don't think we have to pay. Yes, so you can have a local, fully free thing as well. You can also use a paid thing, which then transfers a lot of the maintenance stuff to n8n, right? Compute. But if you use local, of course, you have to manage the deployment, right? So it's a trade-off, cost and convenience thing.